Hi friends, welcome to the Shiits and Gigs podcast where we keep the vibe high, the humor gets raunchy, and things get spicy when we talk about food. I'm your host, Meg Davis. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're here because you like to get weird, you like to learn about some cool shit, and you're committed to living your best life. YOLO! I am here to lean into my natural curiosity around why the frick we're here and what makes us special. I am honored to witness so much talent and experience with each guest that I have on my channel. Each guest is invited on because of a simple conversation, a simple connection. I just find it so intriguing that we all live the same 24 hours and yet everyone's human experience is completely different. So if you're into thinking bigger and leaning into people's natural passions and gifts, you're in the right place. Yay! So glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. Hi friends, thank you for tuning in tonight. I'm joined by the lovely Laura Sarlito. She is my best friend and confidant when it comes to all things photography. She is a local photographer that has been in the business for over 15 years now, right?
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah.
2009.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh, you do the math.
Yeah, you guys can figure that one out. But she is a true confidant when it comes to walking through all of life's special moments when it comes through capturing those through photos. And I'm so blessed to know you. Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I hope that you guys get out of this conversation that you can take true passion work and turn it into any type of opportunity.
Totally.
The sky is the limit when it comes to your dreams, and hopefully we can spark that in you tonight with Laura's story and her super successful photography business. Let's chat about like how we've worked together, I guess, just to warm things up.
I was just gonna ask you, like, I think
year-wise,
I can't
wedding,
remember.
Right?
Yeah, was your wedding?
Yeah.
And how long ago was that now?
That was this year's gonna be 7 years already.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So 7 years ago.
We met at Main Street Coffee.
back when meetings were like actually face to face.
Right.
Yeah.
And not virtual.
Guilty. I'm Zoom for all those meetings now, but
yeah.
I used to like Main Street Coffee was like my watering hole. I
yes.
would literally sit there for like normal people's 9 to 5. I would just plant myself in one place and just do meetings back to back with clients.
I love it. Transition from latte to espresso martini
literally.
As the day surpassed.
I think we did that. We had a meeting
totally
there
did.
and we had a cocktail. Yeah, that was so much fun.
Yeah, and you just made things so easy and so just like effortless, I feel, when it comes to capturing those moments on your special day. I just remember like you don't even prompt us. It's like, let's do this activity and like see what happens.
Yeah,
so
guilty.
It just makes things so easy, and not for nothing on our wedding day it like monsooned out.
Oh my god.
And I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm like that type of person that I'm not going to let that ruin this day that we've anticipated for years.
Totally.
But you were so sweet. You kind of just assured us that everything was going to be okay. We were still going to get the shots. And then you had offered up the unique opportunity of like a mini shoot whenever we got back from our honeymoon, because you were trying to build your portfolio with this like unique I don't know, how would you describe what that photo shoot was?
So I was really, and honestly, I'm still trying to push people to do this. This was actually
so fun.
This is what I did on my wedding day, because I personally think that wedding days should be like, it's really hard for me to want to tear the bride and groom away from everyone.
Yeah.
And I totally get not wanting to see each other until that moment at the ceremony. But it's really hard when you don't have like designated photo time.
Right.
To not have that FOMO. And so I really wanted to start promoting doing after wedding mini sessions where it's like you've seen each other dolled up, so you can put your dress back on, but like it's a way more chill place where you can pick a different location, so you can kind of get a little more creative with it. You're not as worried about time or people or getting the dress dirty, you know. So I really wanted to kind of encourage people to be a little bit more creative when it comes to their photo time. And so being able to offer an after wedding mini session was like, and is still in my like Mary Poppins bag of things that I like to offer to add to anything that they want.
Right.
But like I said, I didn't do like photos with me and my husband on our wedding day. We actually hired a husband and wife team on our honeymoon.
No way.
And we did our photos in
fun.
Italy, and so
I love it.
Which was so much more. It was unbelievable. That was so cool. So I was
awesome.
really wanting to promote something like that.
Yeah.
And it was the greatest opportunity because I wanted to use the sand dunes. I
yes,
was like, really wanted
so
this. Like,
pretty. And shout out to my husband. He was like straight out the hospital. Poor kid got E. coli poisoning on our honeymoon, and I had him. We were picking me up.
He was so good. He was so good.
He was a good sport.
Yeah, but he's always a good sport.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
So that was awesome, and that just like relieved some of that pressure of I wasn't gonna let the rain bother me, but that was just like another layer of how you just kind of gave that reassurance that like it's gonna be a beautiful day no matter what, and like we're gonna get those outdoor photos. So
and it was because your venue asked me for your photos after because they said they hadn't seen those kinds of indoor options before, and
you
I was
really
like,
worked with the layout, and you made it work.
Well, it was a pretty wedding.
Thank you. It was very nice. 10 out of 10. One of the best days of our life. Always.
Love
so
it.
Good. And then we did the maternity shoot when I was pregnant with Cammie, and I am obsessed with the Roger Williams Botanical Gardens. It is like a little slice of heaven if you've never gotten to visit it, and it's only $5 to get in. It's like one of the most beautiful places in Rhode Island, in my opinion.
I love it.
It's just houseplants on steroids.
I mean, yeah, like
it's crazy.
If you want kind of an out of Rhode Island experience for sure, and I mean any time of year. Yeah. Well, for a session anyway. Yeah. I would not recommend a wedding in the summer. It's very hot.
I was gonna ask you because my cousin's actually going to tour there. So what are like the peak recommended windows for the botanical gardens? You think?
I mean, definitely like spring or fall.
Okay.
Like those summer months, unless you're doing a super late wedding, like if you're doing like a 6 o'clock ceremony and like everything's going much later in the evening.
Yeah.
Like I would say
avoid
spring or fall because there's no AC in there.
Yeah.
And it's a greenhouse. It's a literal greenhouse and there's no AC.
Yeah. It's my favorite winter escape because it's actually quite cozy in there in the wintertime.
It is. It's super warm.
Yeah. But that was beautiful. The pictures exceeded all my expectations. And it was just so nice. It didn't even look like we were in Rhode Island. It looked like we were on vacation.
Well, same with the sand dunes. It was like that was kind of the hope was to have variety.
Yeah.
Because everybody comes to Rhode Island and we know all the same spots.
Right. Yeah.
So
you go by the lighthouse, you go get a doughboy at Iggy's.
Yeah, totally. So I think the key of like trying when you've been photographing in Rhode Island for so long is like how do you ensure that everyone's getting something unique from the experience while utilizing the same locations.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that perspective. Yeah, for sure. I love it. And then the last shoot we got to do with you was our newborn shoot, which was interesting. Navigating a newborn is quite, and he had like a poop out like 5 minutes into it.
They all do. Oh my God. The stories I have for you about newborn sessions are just outrageous.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that's why at home is the best place to be.
It was so nice to be at home instead of having to lug him to a studio while still trying to figure out those like, because you do it within the first week or two, right? I think.
So typically, I usually, depending on how the pregnancy goes and whatever, I usually say like 7 to 14 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, they're still fresh. They're still
right.
Like
You're
so
still
small.
Figuring it out. There's no handbook. You're like in the middle of just trying to like navigate your day, and she makes it so easy because she comes right to the house, very comfortable, and it was so nice.
Yeah, newborn sessions have always been like, and I have to tell people when they reach out to me like, hey, make sure that you look at my newborn portfolio first because this is my style and this is what I offer.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely like time and place and personalities that match certain kinds of photography. So when you're shopping for a photographer, you really should connect with their portfolio because don't ask them to be something they're not.
Right.
And that is a lot of newborn sessions. It's like I'm not gonna put you in a studio and put you in like this bassinet and mold.
Not gonna figure out how to swaddle you into a round circle.
It's not happening. I definitely lean really hard into like the organic lifestyle
I
family.
love that about you.
You know, like it's a new member of your family. So it's all about this tiny little infant. They're so cute. But like get some with mom, get some with dad, get some with both of you, bring in the fur babies, like get them involved, but like make it a family session, make it a part of that. And so I always have to show my portfolio for newborns before I'm
that's
like,
probably a good
book.
call for you, because I feel like people always have that high expectation of what they want for a newborn, and if you're not doing that like over the top,
totally,
whatever, sometimes it's off-putting.
Absolutely, and I would be the first person that's like, if what you see doesn't fit, I take no offense. Like, please, I would actually like love to suggest somewhere for you to go that would feel better for you. But
and I think that's one of the reasons you've gotten to where you are today. You're just like that genuine person, so committed to your truth of how you want to like photograph your world, basically, and you're okay that you're not everyone's slice of pie or piece of cake, whatever the saying is.
Honestly, you have to be that way in a career.
There's so many talented photographers out there.
Oh my God.
And you'd be a fool to deny that.
No, definitely not denying that. No denial there. But like, it's hard when you're in a creative field because I know, so I did corporate for like a very short period of time because I just,
actually, let's warm things up. How'd you get here?
Oh my God. So, but like in corporate, it was just like I spent such a short period of time there and I wanted to cry. I was part of a creative team. I won't even like go into those stories over there because Rhode Island. But it was like I wanted to cry every day, and it was just I was still so young when I was in there, and it was like my first corporate job right out of college, and I had always had a mentality of like I love working as a team. It's one of my favorite things to bounce ideas off of each other and to build off of each other, not be like. And I was experiencing like everyone was so territorial over their ideas and their work, and I'm like, aren't we supposed to be working as a like team here? Like, why are we all trying to claim parts of that? I'm like, can't we all just kind of contribute? So it was really like the amount of like beating down on one another and the amount of ego that was involved was just so toxic. And
I can only imagine it would be that way in a corporate setting for something like photography or, like you said, just that creative space, because you're all essentially attempting to work as a team, but there is that layer of pressure to perform and like stand out.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we all have oh my gosh, what's it called? Where you look at everybody else. Oh my God, what is it called?
Not self-criticism, like comparison.
Well, I mean, that's no, it's like when you're like literally looking at everybody's Instagram and everybody's Pinterest and you're comparing yourself to what they're doing. Oh my God, there's a word for it. It's like something syndrome or something.
Oh, imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Oh my God, we got it. Thank God we got there.
Put that part in.
That was gonna drive me nuts. Imposter syndrome. We all have it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So
because
that's
of
hard.
the social media, the constant scrolling, and there's like this unrealistic pressure of like what you should look like as a creative, and that you can't just like refer people to other people's way or like just share the love as far as that. And like,
following what's trendy, it's so like that gets phased out. Like, so if you're trying to follow what everyone else is doing, like, I got news for you, that's going to be old soon too. So
hot tip right there for any photographer friends. Just saying.
I mean, I know nothing. That's actually like a tagline of mine. I'm like, I know nothing, but like
what I know works is
I'm like, I feel as though and I kind of went through that at one point where it's like you're trying to fit in because you're like, oh, I see that this is working for this person, but you realize that what's attractive about other photography, at least from a photography standpoint, and I think from other standpoints as well, is that what's attractive is a lifestyle and a clientele, and you're like, your work is beautiful, but how the hell are you doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's really what you're striving for. So, and you can achieve that by figuring out your own trend, and you're only going to attract the people that need you.
Yeah, well, even being an entrepreneur for over 9 years, I feel like you just get to that place if you're doing the work and like the inner work too. You find that what's most attractive is just authenticity.
Oh God, yeah.
So like if you're staying, like you said, true to like what your style is and what you like to capture, then your crowd is going to come because you're going to hone in on your specific niche and interests, and then you're just going to shine brighter because you're actually capturing what you want. So it's going to show through.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you said that, because truthfully, I am a firm believer, like, inner and outer work do have to be done, but inner first.
Oh, yeah.
Inner first, all day, every day.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, the outer tends to come easier when you've done that.
What are some of your inner work practices?
Oh, my God. Oh,
I know
my
you
God.
do yoga, right? So,
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Actually, like, one of my favorite things that I've done my whole life is collaging.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh my gosh.
So
I have
fun.
done this now ever since I can remember. I had bunk beds with my sister, and
So
I had this massive, and it's the same bulletin board that I had under there.
That.
It's like the size of your TV. It's
No
like
way.
a 5-foot thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And every year, and I kind of started where it was like on New Year.
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh, you're
my
good.
God. I started doing it where it was on like, it was like a New Year practice, but that didn't come until later.
Yeah.
But I bought magazines just to like cut stuff out.
Yeah.
And I collected everything I cut out. And I actually still use the plastic like folder binder thing that my mom got me for all of them when I was in like 5th or 6th grade.
That's amazing.
Like
fueling your inner child and casting vision. I love it.
So it's like, that is my favorite. And every year I take it down and I do like this massive collage. But the intention behind it is that basically there is no intention. I go through all of the clippings that I have, and I just pick out what resonates with me.
Yeah.
And it's always really interesting once I put it all together how that ends up looking. And I'm like, there's usually some sort of theme.
Yeah.
Something that I didn't know or see.
I love this so much.
Yeah,
I love the idea
best.
of vision boarding, but I always feel so much pressure to think about what to put on it. But I love that approach.
Oh my gosh. And it's just, and it's so fun. And it hangs on the wall in my office, and I look at it all the time. And there's like always phrases on it that I need to hear.
Yeah.
And I know last year, the one that kept sticking in my head, it was just like a tiny little thing at the bottom of it, and it said, "No is a full sentence." And because I realized how many times I kept trying to like explain myself and felt like I needed to justify saying no.
I went through that phase for so long. I'm like just on the tail end of it.
Oh my God, it's continual work.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
definitely continual work.
Yeah.
But like there's always something that sticks, and it's weird how it kind of projects the theme for the year, and I don't even know it.
Yeah, that's so cool. What's your projected theme for this year? What do they come
I
out
don't
to be?
know yet.
You don't know yet?
No, but like I noticed a lot more color than I've used in the last couple of years.
I love
there was
that.
a lot more color.
I'm going to have to try this.
So, yeah. And it's really fun because you notice it over the course of the year. And then before I take everything down, you can really see how everything applied to what I did.
To reflect and like look at it and say like, okay, what did this year serve me, and like how was this fitting for it?
So that's like one of my favorite practices.
I absolutely love that. I'm gonna steal it. We actually did something different this year too. We did a bingo card. Have you seen this trend?
No.
So you do a bingo card, and in each spot you put something that you want to do throughout the year, and then when you achieve a bingo, you can go on like a date night or do something special.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Oh.
And different.
Ooh, manifestation bingo.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It was on the top.
I was gonna say where's this template?
Yeah.
Where does the template
No,
live?
I'll have you take a picture of it for you if you want.
Yeah, I would love that.
So fun. Off topic inner work. I love it.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, I love it.
I go off so hard.
Me too, girl. Me too. I took 2 memory armor today for this.
Oh my God.
And we already talked. You've been in the business for 15 years. Now, was photography always like what you knew you wanted to do, or no? Where did we start? Because that's what I'm curious about.
God, no. It was definitely like, had anyone told me that I would be where I am and doing what I'm doing, honestly, I may have believed anything because I had zero clue.
Gotcha.
I had absolutely no clue what I wanted to do.
Okay,
and
that's a unique perspective.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still to this day, it's like as much as what I'm doing resonates with me, I feel like I'm kind of ever learning, ever collecting, and ever growing. And so it's like there's never a place where I feel like completely settled. Like I want to try something new. I want to do more, branch off, like do all these things. But no, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like I went to school,
crazy.
I went to college at Rhode Island College just because it was close.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to waste money like trying somewhere else.
Right.
I literally had not claimed a major because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And by the end of my first semester, second year, they said I had to pick something or I had to leave.
Oh my God.
Not even kidding
what?
you.
You couldn't
not
just
even
stay classes?
No, not even kidding you. If I wanted
guess
to
that's a good
stay,
thing. They're like, don't continue going into debt if you don't know what you're doing.
I mean, that's fair, but it was like
it's a little harsh.
in order to stay a full-time student, I had to like pick a major and a direction, and I was like, I don't know, and I'm like, what am I close to?
Yeah.
And so I ended up in mass media communications as my major.
Okay.
But then accidentally got 2 minors in marketing and business.
Okay.
Totally accident. Totally accident.
Check those off, though.
I would like be going through my list and I'm like, oh, well, if I take like one more class here, then I have a marketing.
Okay.
And then I'm like, oh, but like these 2, I'd also have business with that.
Yeah.
So I just did them, and I'm
Nice.
like, okay. So
I mean, kind of related to where you're at. You maybe have pulled at least a handful of skills from those classes.
I have to say, like, marketing is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I love to say that it's the perfect blend of design and psychology.
Yes,
and that
I totally agree.
Both are fascinating to me, and I could dive right in for days to talk about that, but I won't, I promise.
I mean, we can have you on again sometime. I also love marketing, and also just like that, you're not, it's design work like you mentioned, but you're like, who am I designing for?
Psychology.
And, yeah, exactly. It's like, who am I attracting? Like, what turns them on? Like, what's making them look?
I love it.
It's so interesting.
It's so interesting.
Yes.
And it only works when you're being, like, if you're just being real with somebody.
Right.
Like, the best stuff comes from just, like you were saying earlier, authenticity.
Yeah.
So reeling back in, I did that in college, and then, like I said, I ended up graduating and going like literally right into corporate. I graduated in May. I was in corporate, I think end of May, early June.
Oh wow, okay.
Which I thought was incredible, but I thought it was like what I was supposed to do.
Right.
Meanwhile, I had started photography. I had started this business in 2009.
Okay.
While I was going through college.
Oh, okay.
So on top of everything, I was building this and trying to have it grow.
Yeah.
And it was always like my side hustle, if you will.
Yeah.
But I always felt so much more drive to pump energy into that than anything else.
Okay.
And I specifically remember like people telling me like in my internship, in my corporate job, in my part-time job, in my relationship, it was like, can you reel it back in here, please? And I'm like,
really?
No, like let me figure this out kind of thing. I'm like, if this is the way that I'm being driven, then sure.
Right.
And it was really like the fascination with like how to market it and how to get it out there.
Okay.
It was like almost kind of an experiment.
Yeah.
And then I just like got so sick of corporate. Like I said, it was such a short period of time. I think it was like a year and a half. And I was like,
I'm done.
Totally done with this. Totally done with this. And I was like, I'm jumping ship, and I promised myself 1 year, no matter what that year looked like. If it meant just the most insane struggle, but I'm going to give myself 1 full year to see what happens if I direct it all to myself. And if I find that I'm still on this like wild struggle bus and I'm not really experiencing the fruits from my efforts, then I will move on a little bit. But honestly, I filled my time so fast.
That's awesome.
And it was incredible how fast the ball started rolling when I just like gave into it.
And just trust, surrender to the process. I love that you said 1 year. That's like my rule of thumb with anything too. Like if I have any new crazy idea, I'm like entrepreneurial at heart. I'm thriving in, I don't want to say corporate job because it is a smaller company. But I just see opportunity in everything, I guess you could say. And I'm a sole believer, if you're going to give something a go, just give it a full year. That's like my standard.
Well, the thing is,
and then just be honest with yourself. Is what it is. Like know when to either make pivots, or and when it comes to pivoting, within that year, don't feel like you have to stay standard to like this one routine that you think up as, and you think it's like the best thing ever. Like be open to making those monthly or quarterly pivots, but give it the year and see how you're trending. And then, like be honest. You're like, okay, like does this feel good? Does this feel bad? This was a shitty year, so maybe this isn't for me. Like,
and honestly, it works the same way when you're in your own business. It's like you're never going to stand still with that. Like you should always be updating and changing and thinking about what you want to shift around and what feels good and what doesn't, and has your clientele, the desire to attract different people changed. Like all of it is ever changing. Right. And so but giving yourself a solid amount of time to try something out is good. Yeah. But I mean, like, I truthfully, it's crazy. I really would not have pinned any of this. Yeah. And I do always say that it chose me, because I really feel like I just kind of.
What made you pick up the camera? Like, were you into taking pictures as a kid?
I was definitely like the kid that always had a little camera on me.
Oh, like Polaroids. These kids don't even know what that is anymore. Or there's Polaroids.
They're coming back.
Fancy ones.
It's trending.
But what's the... Like, you had to go get your film developed. These people don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah. Film cameras. I love it. I love it.
Cute.
I offer those now. That's another item I
really?
do. Yeah, like, if they want a disposable camera of their, wedding day or a session, that I'll bring that and then hand it to you at the end of the session so you can go to, like, CVS. And I love them. Because those were actually, like, I had a shit ton of those at my wedding. Oh, yeah? And they're the world's worst photos, but they're so good. Mm-hmm. So good. I love them.
That's such a fun memento.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've already touched on this a little bit, but what do you think truly makes you stand apart from the crowd? Because, like we've already mentioned, there's many talented photographers out there.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, that's a
wrong way to word it. How about, like, what do you think has allowed you to stay in this business as your sole business, right? You don't do anything else particularly on the side for 15 years. That's big to be able to support yourself with passion work. Yeah,
it's hard to say, because I truthfully don't feel as though I actively do anything to try and be different.
For you, it's probably a lot of referrals, right?
I've never paid for an advertisement in my life. So
that's big.
I never
That's a flex.
Word of mouth has been 100% of the game, which is crazy. So for me, it was really about, like, oh my gosh, like the whole journey has been a lot more about learning about myself than it has been about my business. So I'm actually an introvert. At heart, I recharge when I'm alone. And so when I first started this, it was really hard for me to get out there. It was really hard for me to start, like, directing clients. It was hard for me to communicate what it was that I wanted from the relationship with my clients. And so, like, truthfully, I personally don't feel like I actively do anything to try and be different. And maybe that alone is what does, because it's always been about the relationships that I have.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what makes you different. Yeah. Is that drive to have, like, that actual relationship. You're not there to just get the paycheck. You're there to have an experience and create an experience and capture that. And
honestly, I think, like, my one downfall is I get super frustrated when people want cookie cutter. Yes. And I'm just like, but I wanted to talk to you. Yeah. And I'm like, but I wanted to, like, put something together for you. Yeah. And I wanted to, like play. Yeah. So that's why it's like I really, really try to project
for example, for our wedding, the first look, very stereotypical option that people do just to, like, release some of that pressure of, like, stealing the bride and groom away from the crowd or whatever. But
which I 10 out of 10 recommend, by the way. So many reasons for that.
So many reasons. And it was just so nice to, like, have that special moment, but also, instead of just doing the stereotypical put all the pressure on the groom to turn around, she had us write these letters to each other, which I still read, like, very frequently. Whenever I need it, I just, like, pull it out of my underwear drawer. I'm literally gonna her underwear drawer. And I just reference it.
I'm gonna cry.
But she had us stand back to back, and then we turned around after reading our letters, and it's just, like, such an intimate moment. And then you don't have that pressure for, like, the groom to, like, react a certain way or whatever.
And truthfully, I personally recommend that to a lot of clients in that moment, because I have seen so much between the two of them when you set it up to not just be about, like, one person turning around to see another. It's about you guys participating in it together.
Right.
To the level that you're comfortable with. Like, not everyone I know does letters.
Yeah.
I have people now that started asking if they could do their private written vows during that moment instead of during the ceremony, because they just wanted it together.
Right, because it's so hard
many emotions. So many emotions. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So you're very special in that way. You definitely go out of your way to create those connections. So
you're very sweet.
That is seen and heard. And I was curious, what is your favorite style of shoe? Do you have a favorite?
No.
Okay.
No. I do get asked this all the time.
All right. Well, let's break it down then. As far as, what's like your favorite part about shooting a wedding?
Oh my gosh.
Is there like a favorite moment in a wedding that you really enjoy?
Truthfully, no, because it's like, well, one no-fail thing that I look forward to at every wedding is details. Like, I freaking love a good flat lay, and that's something that I put together. Yeah. But I have like a list that I send to my clients ahead of time. Like, have
it's
these
very
things
specific
ready.
and helpful. Very specific. There's many pages, but it's worth it.
That's my type A. Yeah. That's the type A side that I have. I'm like, I'm gonna give you all of the information.
Yes.
But like, I love playing with the details when I first get there, because I feel like for me it really sets the tone of the wedding. Like, I look at everything that you brought here and I can piece it all together in what you want.
Puzzle.
It's so cute, and I just think they're so much fun. And I recently started trying to do them like with the groom stuff too.
Oh, cute.
Which, I mean, not a lot of people, like, I don't know, maybe
like what they're like watch or bow tie or whatever.
It's all like cute stuff.
That's
but
so fun.
But in terms, honestly, it's about the clients. Because it's like, it depends on the clients, because I've had so much fun at different points of the day with different personalities. And really, I find that the most fun I have is with the clients. Like, you can tell the difference with people who understand why they're there.
Right.
You know, and they're not there for the production of it. They're not there because they want to make sure that the photos that they're getting are going to be posted everywhere and people will admire them. It's people who literally said, fuck whatever conditions happen today, I'm getting married to the love of my life, and I'm so happy. And that is what makes for the most beautiful work. Absolutely most beautiful work.
So fun. Yes, absolutely. Ugh, this is a great episode. I'm loving this.
I do. I really do.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
You shine, girl.
Thank you.
Is there like one shoot that was unforgettable for you?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you went to Hawaii for Natalie. That was pretty crazy.
I was gonna say,
that was
so
a bucket list item for you, though, right?
Literally, like, whenever I've been able to travel for stuff, like, Hawaii was amazing. But again, could have not been. They were an amazing couple.
And
she was like, they were so fun to work with that day. They were so easy to hang out with.
That's
and
awesome.
Like, her and I really like bonded over the planning of that whole thing too.
Yeah, Natalie loves good plan.
Oh my gosh. And I'm a planner.
Awesome,
I do my plans.
Yeah.
So Hawaii was amazing. That same year I was in California, which was incredible.
Fun. Yeah.
Like, I've done a couple in New York where like the ones in New York that actually like let me go all out in my creativity.
Love it.
Like, there was one bride who did let me do like subway shots and stuff.
Oh
my god,
so
it was so fun. So yeah, I don't even remember the question. Most fun session.
Oh yeah, most fun session.
Yeah, so I mean, those are definitely like.
Yeah, travel. I mean, you have a traveling soul, so that makes sense to me.
I just love traveling. So yeah, anytime I get to travel is amazing. But I do like. There's definitely, I can like pinpoint a few in my head that I had a lot of fun with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we can just.
I never forget a client. I never
Yeah.
forget a client.
Well, and what also, one of the reasons I really wanted to invite you on is like you're truly that person that walks through like life with your clients, and it's because you build that relationship and they want to keep coming back for more because you do amazing work. But
thank you.
That relationship is big, and I'm not the only client that you've done multiple shoots with.
Oh my gosh, no. I was going to say, so my oldest standing client has been with me since 2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, there's a couple, there's actually 2 or 3 of them from that year that are with me.
So cool.
So, and it's really, really special because like you were saying, I don't have a favorite type of session. It really is just, it's such a gift to be chosen over and over again with these families. And honestly, even more so for the ones that have been with me through my own phases.
Right.
Like, you can put the photos next to each other and they're not all the same.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting part for me. And this is kind of going back to when we were talking about like a trend in photography. I'm like, don't do that, because
you're your own trend.
Those people come back like they loved the work in each of your phases, but like they're not going to come back if they didn't like you as a person, you know? Yeah. So I've made like a lot of friendships with my clients. Yeah. And it's really, really special. I mean, when their kids learn your name, and awesome. I shout out my one of my clients, the shot put family, who her son has his own toy camera. Aww. And he's brought it to like a couple of the shoots, so and I just cute. Die. Like, he wants to take pictures together, and I'm like, oh my God,
so cute.
It's the best feeling.
Oh, that's amazing. And you saw them before, like they had the baby and everything.
Yeah. So I started with them with their wedding. They were a similar circumstance. Like they had a friend do a save the date or something, and then they had me for their wedding, and they have 2 sons, so it was maternity and both newborns. Nice. And both first birthdays and Christmas every year. So
I know, I didn't even write this down, but I'm so glad I thought of it. I saw you had done birth photography.
Yes.
How was that?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
because I might consider it for my next one.
Oh my God.
I loved my birth.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
You're my girl.
It was like,
you're invited.
This was listen, I will accept the invitation.
Soon, but
it was definitely like, I was nervous as hell, obviously.
Yeah, because there's so much pressure because there's no timing.
Yeah, so basically I got a call from the hospital when, like, I went in with them and when she got settled and everything, and then I went home and I got a call from the husband when she was at, I think it was like 7 or 8. Yeah. And then I came back in and I stayed for the rest of it. And obviously I'm not going to share too much about their personal experience. Yeah. But I have to say, like, everyone was saying like, oh my God, like what? Yeah. I'm not there to be like National Geographic on this.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
We're not capturing the crowning.
No.
Potentially, I don't know.
Like, no. You're not looking at it that way. You are 100% looking at it as like this beautiful like birth, like it was just, it was incredible. And so the photos were just gorgeous. It was just and I'm gonna like cry thinking about it, because honestly it was the best family too.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you've only done the one so far?
Only the one so far.
I'm serious. If we go for number 2,
I was supposed to have another one, but then COVID hit. So I was scheduled, it was like, I think it was I think she was supposed to be in like early spring of 2020, I think, and then we had to pull the plug and we couldn't do it. Yeah, but it was unbelievable.
Cool. Yeah. Well, hold me accountable, because I really want to do that.
You should.
Our next one, and I also want to attempt to be at home, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
I was going to say, I know me. I have resources for people who did it.
Oh, cool. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Hopefully looking forward to that in the future.
Yay.
Not the now future,
that.
but yeah.
Oh my God.
And is there anything that you wish you had more of an opportunity to shoot?
Travel. I just want to go everywhere.
Get your quotes. Take her anywhere.
Seriously, because I love traveling so much, and I just love seeing new places and being a part of new things, and like anywhere, anywhere. I mean, I was so bummed. I had somebody wanted to take me to Israel this past spring, but I was actually in Paris at that time. So,
tough times.
So I was like, oh darn, I can't take it. But oh my gosh, the way what I would do to like just go to be in more places for anything.
That is
like,
so cool.
It would be amazing.
I love that journey for you. Load her up, friends. Yeah. Ask for quotes. Where do you want to go to? Take her with you. She's
major discounts on my bucket list places.
Hilarious. I don't know. I feel like we covered a lot. Yeah. So now I kind of want to go into some takeaway stuff for any techie people or people that are listening, because they're into photography and they maybe want to turn this dream into something more. What are like
I was gonna say
your-
don't bank on that because I'm like I know how to use my camera, but I didn't go to school for it.
Oh yeah,
guys,
we're not gonna
so.
break that down. I actually have a different photographer that's very techie, and I might bring him on for that portion.
Totally do a tech talk with
Cameras
somebody
are
else.
so complex.
So complex.
We need someone to break it down.
And it's weird how it's like I know my way around a camera really well,
Yeah.
but like if you start talking nerd to me, I'm just like I glaze.
Yeah.
I'm just like I don't know.
You're like, I just touch the buttons and it works.
I know what I have to do to make it work. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But what is your, or actually, I've written down, like, what was your first camera? Do you remember?
Oh my god. Yeah, it was, well, I don't remember the specific model, but it was a Canon Rebel. And
I feel like that's
obviously-
everyone's first camera
And
that's trying to
truthfully,
make it.
I think it's a great place to start.
Yeah.
I think for it's not a whole lot of money.
Yeah. I think we actually had gotten that. Josh wanted to get into doing photography for our honeymoon.
Oh my god,
And
stop.
so we brought the Canon Rebel with us.
I
and
love
we did get
that.
some good shots. It
Yeah.
didn't last very long after that.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. Is like,
Yeah.
it's funny. I feel like people fall off because they want to do more with it, and that camera won't let you do more.
Yeah.
But I've stayed in the Canon family.
Yeah.
Like I'm
I love that.
still a Canon girl.
So great. So if they're looking to start a business, what do you think is like the best first step or best advice that you want to leave with people? Sorry, no
Do
pressure.
we have like another podcast that we can do?
We can keep going. I love
Honestly,
talking to
like
you, so.
this. Oh my god, we're like just do it. Like
Yeah.
it's really one of those things that like the reason why people don't do it is because they like end up creating so much doubt in their heads.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just kind of like just dive into it,
Yeah.
it's like it really you can achieve anything with that. And
you really can.
yeah, but
Sky
you
is
have
the limit always.
seriously, but you
Yeah.
really have to like just dedicate yourself to that and say
Yeah.
I'm gonna put everything that I have into this.
Yeah.
And I mean I said this about dating too, where it's
Yeah.
like I don't think it's fair to not give somebody 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
I love
whole,
that.
You know, like 80%, 20%.
Yeah,
no,
no,
like
it doesn't
like
work.
100%.
You go all in.
You can jump ship if like the 100% isn't working, but
Yeah.
like you know, and I feel like it's the same thing with diving into anything like this. Is
Right.
there's so many reasons that people tell themselves to be afraid of something like this, and it's really kind of like I don't even want to call it fake confidence because.
Yeah, because fake it till you make it, it's like you get that concept, but you gotta go in with the consistency and like research the action steps that you need to take.
Yeah.
And just know, like, we were talking about ChatGPTing your manifesto
God.
or whatever.
Oh my God.
Don't do that.
No.
But whatever you want to do, like, figure out, look at the people that you look up to. Like, what are they doing in order to attract their crowd, or how are they marketing themselves?
Yeah,
It's
never
just-
be below asking people
Yeah,
or trying to
right.
just reach out and connect.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I think it's weird to say I've never looked at something that I wanted and thought that I couldn't have it.
Yeah.
But it's a weird. It's not like an ego thing. It's just
No, it's just
when something's put in front of you, you're like, yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
And that's the way you behave.
Right.
Is like that's already mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you just move.
Yeah, you just act in
forward
alignment with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
I
great
really have to
advice.
say, and that's why before it was like inner work first.
Absolutely.
Inner work first.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to entrepreneurism, because it's not for the weak-hearted. It's a grind. And
It's a grind.
It's a wave, and if you're not all in, and it doesn't work out for everyone. I mean, myself included, in a way. Like, entrepreneurism is like in my soul, but like I'm thriving in a different setting, and it's just you don't know where it's going to lead you, but no matter what, like you do.
But you have to
just,
welcome that.
right? Yeah.
You know, because whatever you're doing right now, if that really within you was kind of just like, yeah, this is the right move.
Yeah.
This is a good. It's not a move from fear. It's not
Yeah.
a move from doubt. It's
Right.
not a move from like a lack of confidence. It's a move because this feels like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's without fear. And okay, that could, and I said this to my husband. I'm like,
Yeah.
it could just be a bridge.
Yeah.
Like whatever
Right.
you're crossing over there, that could just be a bridge. It doesn't have
Yeah,
to be
it's a
the
great
be all
perspective.
end all. You
Yeah.
know, this could just be leading you to where you're supposed to be for something else, for what
Right.
you're manifesting for something else.
Mm-hmm.
But you really just have to move with like a really, really honest heart.
Yeah.
Like really painfully honest
this
heart.
year was like a big trust and surrender year for me. It was just like deep honesty with myself with where I'm at and like how that compares to where I want to be going, and then just complete like surrender and trust. And it's crazy to see how it all does just like fall into place when you're in that space. But it's not easy to stay there.
No.
It takes a lot of that inner work.
Well, I mean, like I still, how many years later, and every year I have the fear of like, what if nobody hires me this year?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Get out of here.
How many years later am I still having to give myself a pep talk over that? It's just kind of, and that's why this, like, the forward thinking and knowing and being able to see where you want to be and moving that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about, like, just marinating in where you are right now, which a separate conversation is about being present. But, like, when you find yourself getting, like, way too comfortable, where there's a plateau.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Gotta
yes, I
challenge
totally
that.
feel that.
Forward thinking always.
Yeah,
for
forward
sure.
thinking. All right, so I guess the big takeaway is just go all in. Just do it.
Just do it.
Go all in. Consistency. Believe in
100%.
yourself. You can do hard things.
Yes. all of those home goods science kind of thing.
All right, and then I like to wrap up every episode with some perspectives questions because I find it truly fascinating that we all get the same 24 hours in every day, and our life paths are completely different. And so I like to just dive in and ask just a couple little questions.
Yeah.
So to kick things off, outside of almost all of my guests are invited on because of passion work. So this one is kind of tricky because I ask, outside of photography, do you feel like there is any other natural born gift that you were given?
I'm like, I don't even think I was given a natural born gift of photography. That's terrible. No, I love
that.
I love what I do, but that's wonderful.
That took a lot of work to get to where you're at.
Yeah,
so maybe not natural born. Okay, this
no,
is a
but
great
I do think it's like it is like you have the eye or you don't have the eye.
Right.
You can do the technical with a camera all day. I've seen people, but like you have to be able to connect with somebody's work no matter what it is. So there does have to be some connection behind the camera for sure. And I do feel like I was given that. Yeah. And just because I have always connected with art in general. Like I did a lot like of oils and charcoals in high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then my dad is a creative, and so, and like I said, I was always the kid carrying a camera around. Yeah. So no matter what field it was, I did a lot of dance, and so there was always some sort of creativity involved. Yeah. So I would like to think that, but I mean, my other passion is just coffee.
I love it.
Like I can make a really good latte.
That's amazing.
Listen,
I got an espresso machine. What can I do with that?
Seriously. Other podcast episode.
Yes. Coffee lovers unite. Do you happen to have a top fear?
Top fear? Oh my God, everything. Everything's scary. Yeah. But
this one's tricky.
That is a really, really tricky one. A top fear, honestly, is like not seeing everything. Yeah. You know,
FOMO.
I'm like, I really do worry about like not doing everything that I want to in my life. Yeah. And I don't know if that means, oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
It's okay.
Like it's
this has been a very emotional episode, but I'm okay with it.
It's like there are so many places I want to see. Yeah. I certainly feel like I haven't met everyone that I want to meet. Yeah. I certainly feel like I haven't done everything I want to do, and I would love for what I'm doing now, whether this is it and it brings me into something else, whether this has been one massive bridge leading me to something else. Yeah. I really do have a fear of just like not being able to do all of that in my life.
Yeah, I feel that. This world is so big.
Oh my God, so big.
We're just like a speck.
We're so small.
I dream about this often.
We're so small.
I daydream about this all the time. Like even last night, Josh and I were looking up and there was a bright star. Like that's a freaking planet. That's just like floating in space, and we're all just trusting that we're on this floating orb and it's not going to fall into them wherever we are.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
So I totally get that.
It's definitely,
in the grand scheme of things, when you do the inner work and like you just take these different perspectives, it's just like, when am I going to see it all? When am I going to get to experience it all? What is my experience going to be? How do I get there? And it's just, I totally feel that.
And I think it's like a lot of people and I think it's hard to talk about it when you're describing passion work because
Yeah.
Watch the movie Soul, by the way, if you haven't.
Okay.
Disney's Soul.
Disney?
Listen, I know, Disney girl,
It's a-
I'm
is
sorry,
it
but this is
a
like
cartoon?
but listen, my husband can't even watch it. Like,
Why?
because it like hits home so hard.
Wow.
It's like about your soul's purpose.
Oh, no way.
And talking about how it's like, it's not about like one particular thing. It's not about you being a soccer player. It's not about you being like a health coach. It's not about me being a photographer. It's about what lights your soul on fire.
That is so sweet.
And
Go Disney.
And it could be anything. It can be anything. And if you're doing something that sparks that in you constantly, that's wonderful. But don't be tied to that one thing.
Yeah.
If you start to feel a spark somewhere else, explore it.
Yeah.
You know, always be open to that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to watch that.
it. Watch it.
So
Disney
fun.
sponsor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go Disney. The family, my husband's like, we're never going there. I'm
Oh
like,
my God,
come on.
stop. I just got back.
I want to at least drink around Epcot with him.
Oh my God,
I
it's
feel
really
like he'd be
fun.
into that part.
It's super fun.
Yeah, and I need to ride the Avatar ride because I want to be an Avatar.
If you want to be an Avatar, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
It's an incredible ride.
I cannot wait. We actually, when we were younger, we played GarageBand, which I'm sure you played
Oh my God,
also.
I was killer
Rocking
at
out.
drums.
So, me too.
Killer.
I
Oh,
forget.
yeah,
I
drum
think
girl.
drums was my place I was shining at the time.
love
But
that.
we made all of our avatars look like avatars.
Oh my God, stop.
I forget
love
what
that.
our band name was.
That was
but,
so funny.
One
One of these days.
Yes. And the last thing I'd like to ask is, do you feel like there was an experience that you went through that has shaped the way you show up?
Oh my God, so I saw you wrote this question, and I felt like this was going to be the hardest one, so I did have to think about it ahead of time, and I came prepared.
I love this.
So the first one was definitely the first one was skydiving.
Oh.
Huge fear.
That's
Huge fear.
Probably something I'll never do.
Oh my God, listen, I to this day, I've had moments like this happen, and I sound like
Yeah.
a crazy person, where I have no idea who spoke for me.
Yeah.
It came out of my mouth. I'm in this body, and something said something. I'm not kidding when I say this has happened to me a couple times.
Interesting.
Totally out of body. So when something in me said yes to when my friend wanted to go, I was like, who the fuck just said that?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I'm scared of heights. Like, this is not happening.
Not in my wheelhouse.
And then I was like in total denial. I was like, oh, it'll rain. Oh, she'll back out.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't actually happening.
Yeah.
Oh, it happened.
Oh my God.
And they don't even warn you. They just dump you out of the plane.
Stop.
And I have to say, I was so emotional and hopped up on adrenaline at the end of it.
Yeah.
It was something I said I would never do.
Yeah.
It was like a huge fear I've had, and I was alive, and I loved it.
Wow.
I loved the experience.
Really?
And after that,
Now I'm gonna have to do it.
it was like the peak of learning what it's like on the other side of that anxiety.
Okay.
The absolute peak that I could have experienced.
Huh.
And ever since then, I was able to really recognize when I'm feeling this way, what's behind that.
Yeah.
And what
it's
it
like a gauge.
Yes.
Huh.
So it was a physical experience. That was the first one.
I love this.
Second one was traveling out of the country by myself for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Incredible how much I was like, wow, this world is really accessible.
Yeah.
And there's so much more out there.
Yeah.
So it
And
broadened
I'm
on.
brave, and I can do hard things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I figured it out. You're here.
Yes.
You're not stuck
Yes.
wherever you were.
Yes.
So you made it home.
Third was my grandfather passing. I was the only one who didn't go to his funeral.
Oh.
And it was because I had 2 weddings that weekend, and it was the only weekend where I couldn't have coverage, because at the time I was also doing video at weddings.
Okay, gotcha.
And after that point, I was like, I need flexibility in my schedule. I need to build this differently. And
Yeah.
I set a whole new intention for my business.
Good, yeah.
And then the fourth one was my car accident a couple years ago.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
when something like that was such a major thing, and within seconds, all of a sudden I knew exactly what I wanted. Like exactly what I wanted for my life.
You woke up and I'm like, I'm up.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
up,
Like,
and I'm here, and this is what I'm going for.
Yup, it was really, really weird. It was like when I rolled out of the car, it was like this flash in my head where I was like, I saw what I was, what I wanted to be.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So those 4 things have had a huge impact on me.
Yeah, wow.
So,
powerful stuff, girl.
Yeah.
Thanks for preparing.
Oh my gosh. Loved it.
Loved it. And then I just started asking, do you have any questions that you might want to ask me?
Oh my gosh.
No pressure to, but I figured I should throw it out there, I guess.
I'm like, how have you known, like, every step that you've taken? Like, what prompted you to be what you're doing, and what has prompted you to, like, either move away from it or move into it, or, like, what was that like?
For me, honestly, I think one of the biggest blessings that I got out of my Herbalife and, like, health coaching journey is the introduction to personal development and just, like, doing the work, not just reading the books or listening to the podcast, but, like, taking a hot second to actually implement what you're listening to.
Yeah.
If you feel like it's something that you need to work on, like, just being honest with myself, I guess, is one thing, with how I'm feeling, constantly doing self-checks, like, okay, I'm feeling some sort of way today, like, why am I feeling this way? I think self-checks is probably, like, the biggest thing that I do for myself often, and just,
Good
like,
for you.
Yeah, you just need a good self-check always. Like, even, for example, Josh and I pride that our relationship is, like, solid foundation of communication, and being a parent, it's so tough just in general, because, like I said, there's no, like, handbook or anything that anyone hands you. And for us, like, communication is just so solid. So with Cammie, he's, like, a little speech delayed, and not being able to communicate with him has been so challenging. And you just get in those situations where you're like, what do you want? Like, you're like pushing that boundary of, like, I'm being not the parent I want to be, basically. So we came up with this code word called Ducky. We, like, just, like, think of, like, a little, like take a second. Like, squeeze your ducky and just, like, take a second and, like, check yourself. And I think that is a big thing. But as far as, like, endeavors go, just honesty again with, like, doing those self-checks and be like, okay, like, this, for example, with this job transition, I was health coaching beforehand. I had my food subscription and I had this podcast. And I gave it that solid year. The food subscription and this podcast were going to be, like, kind of like my trials of some, like, supplemental income. And the food subscription kind of, it was gaining interest, but it flopped as far as a financial opportunity goes. So I'm like, okay, like, this isn't it. I'm going to pivot. I have ideas of what I want to do, just not a priority right now. And then, but I was like, the podcast is trending as far as gaining traction with following goes. Yes, it's not monetized at this time, so it's not giving me anything financially, which is what I needed, that financial stability, but I'm now getting that from this job, and this is just something that makes me happy. So, like, getting locked into with, like, incorporating things in your day that bring that happiness, because if you don't, you're just walking through life, and then it's over.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you doing?
And you know what I love? Like, one of the things I just heard is that maybe, like, Cam is that way for a reason, because you pride yourself on being so great with communication, that the universe was just kind of like, we're gonna give this to you. Well, that's the thing. We're gonna give this to you, and we're gonna make you even better, because they, like, it already knew that he was gonna be this way, and he was like, you're his perfect mom, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I feel that for sure.
I love that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What a great question.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should just wrap it up. I appreciate you. We need to go out for an espresso sometime.
I know, seriously. I'm like, I could go on.
I need to book a shoot
long.
or something. But seriously, if you guys are looking for a photographer that can walk through life with you and capture life's special moments, definitely hit up my girl, Laura. Your handle is what? At Laura?
At Laura Inc. Photo.
Yes. And if you want to follow her personal journey, what's your other one? Your personal page?
My personal is Laura Sarletto. That's a private account. But
oh, okay, yeah. You gotta become friends first for that one.
Exclusive.
Book a session, see what happens. I don't know.
wouldn't be the first time, for sure.
But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
Always
you
a
for
pleasure.
having me.